The fact that it took me 5 years before having a second show in Brazil, because on the first show, my parents came. And, you know, when you're an artist, you deal with two things. You deal with a wide audience of people who you want to connect. You want to be within the world and talk to this world. But then you need rich sponsors to be able to make that possible on the other hand. And in a gallery, you know, I was among collectors and buyers, rich people from Sao Paulo, and there comes my father and my mother. They walk in, they feel extremely uncomfortable, and I cannot, in my mind, put these two things together. It took me another 5 years, and only I started making peace with this poor boy that I had left in Brazil before I came to the US, when I started working and connecting to the society in which I lived more directly. And I started to feel this enormous pleasure of this connection, you know, being part of a bigger family and being able to mend these two things. I was asked, this whole story started here in England, you know. It was when I did the show at the Baltic Center. A producer, actually was introduced to me by Michael Angus. He brought this director, Lucy Walker, and he said, we want to do a documentary about your work. I said to them, every time I do a documentary about my work, I get a divorce, so I don't think I want to do this again. Instead I suggested that, this one got me a divorce too. I suggested that we do something else, that we should do a piece about a body of work from the very beginning to the end. And then that's what we did. I started, one thing that I wanted to work about something that doesn't inspire the gaze. Garbage is something that we're always hiding, that you don't want to see. It reminds of death. It's something that tends to invisibility. So to make something with that would be very interesting. Then I went to this garbage field in Brazil, and I really think if you didn't see the film, you can watch it. It's free on Vimeo. You know, you can get a pirate copy. It's very easy. It's like I really explained to me, I wanted to prove to myself that art was important. And for that, I conducted this experiment in which I got a whole bunch of people together, and I made with them their portraits. You know, these people have nothing to do with art. They never had an art book. They've never been to a museum. And they're used to see themselves in tiny pictures that they found cell phones, you know, of themselves. The self-image is very different than the ones we have. So, and by working with them on a project, I didn't want to add anything to the bargain, to the equation. So I used the same materials that they dealt with every day. You know, we're able to produce this for 3 years. You know, we're able to produce these drawings, and it changed their entire lives. You know, it was and the great thing about documenting this process that you could see how their lives changed. And it has changed, but most important that it changed my life too, because it showed to me that it's got something else there. You know, it's an amazing power that art has to humanize people, to show them that there are other things to do. That I love this word, diversion. Diversion in Portuguese means entertainment. You know, it's almost a derogative term when you talk about art. But diversion means a detour. It means something that you can go away from the root of the way you go about things every day and look at it differently. Art has that power, you know, of changing your way of looking things and challenging your vision of the world. And doing this challenged my vision of the world.